got 11 o'clock. Guys, we're going to go ahead and get started on time. As I always promise, being the Marine that I am, we watch the clock. We respect everybody's time. So we're going to start with our purpose statement. I'm going to share my screen and I will read it because I see Luis is trying to get on camera and Leroy is driving. And here we go. And here's my share. All right. The 17 Club purpose statement. Be building disciplined men of purpose who take responsibility, act with intention, and serve others. This is where we study the science of personal achievement and to support, encourage, and hold each other accountable on their journey toward their personal and professional definite chief aim. All right, with that, I am going to let Albert in the room and I am going to stop the share. All right. So, to hold each other accountable, that's going to lead me right into a great conversation for us today, right? Great conversation for today. In my private mastermind yesterday with Leroy and Luis and Albert, we all stood up and said, you know what? This mastermind group is missing something, and it's called accountability, right? And so we all talk a lot. Everybody in the room loves to talk. And talk is cheap, as we used to say in the Marine Corps. Talk is cheap, right? And so today is actually our 18th week meeting with this Tuesday morning mastermind. 18 weeks. We've done all 17 principles. We've talked a lot. We don't have quite as many faces in the room as we had at the beginning, which is expected. Sometimes life gets in the way. Sometimes people drift. I mean, that's what this study is all about. Are you a drifter or are you a non-drifter? And non-drifters identify their definite major purpose. They stay focused. They surround themselves with a mastermind alliance that helps them and supports them along the way. And we don't expect everybody to be the 1%. Right? We don't expect everybody to be there. If everybody could be there, we wouldn't be who we are. And we are non-drifters in this room. We are leaders, right? And so what I wanted to start out with this morning is as we always do, what are your wins from the last week? I missed last week. I was on my 48th wedding anniversary vacation. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the replay video from Luis. It didn't show up anywhere that I could find it. But I'm curious, what was your big win between last week and this week? Who wants to step up?
I'm gonna. So I'm getting ready for this event, right, in Mexico City in October, and we're moving forward big time. Deals with hotels. I found out the hotel that I wanted to, that is really close to the venue that I'm looking for. It's I'm requiring 100. I need a contract for 100 rooms, and they will give me 60. So, and they told me that they have sister hotels, a few, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes without traffic in Mexico City, which is gotta be close.
Yeah, right.
But if there's traffic, it's gonna be 45 to an hour. So I'm looking for the hotels that she said, that the lady said. So I'm looking for a bigger hotel now where I can have my 100 rooms, so I can get everybody in the same room. Logistics is going to be way easier than people don't, because it happens. It happened to us before. Like some of our team is in one hotel and the other part of the team is and it's a nightmare. I don't want to do that to anybody. So, and we're in really good way to sign the contract with the facility that I've been asking for the last year, thinking about
Nice.
it. So yes, then and more teams are confirming. So more teams are coming from. I have people very interested from Northern Ireland that they want to come, but for sure we have Brazil, Guatemala, United States, Canada, England, and Germany coming. So that's amazing. And of course, several states in Mexico. So it's
Yeah,
it's really nice. So
I
that's
love it.
that's a huge win for me.
I love it. Congratulations, Luis. I know how hard you're working on this, and I can only imagine the magnitude of the weight that you carry on your shoulders trying to get this thing to just the start date, just to do the event, right? All this work comes before the event itself,
Mhm.
so
Yeah,
congratulations.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, definitely for me, the hardest or the biggest part of the work is before the event. When the event starts, it's the easy part for me.
Yeah,
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 for sure.
yeah. Good for you. Good for you. Anyone else have
Thank
a
you.
win they'd like to share? I see Rob in the room. Looks like he's off camera, and Michael just joined us as well. So, anyone else have a win to share from the last week? Something that just kind of made your heart pump just a little bit harder.
Sure, Frank. Let me come on camera here really quick. I'm
Sure,
driving
Rob.
right now. I'm actually at my new job. Yeah, I started this new job. It's been a week. I've landed on my feet. God was good to me, and what happened really turned around to be one of the better things that's ever happened. So I'm back in Colorado. I'm working this job. I didn't want to share what this job is, and I think you guys are going to get kind of a laugh at it. So I'm getting paid very well to follow around this truck that's delivering products. So we have about 5 stops through Denver. I am armed. I have to fill out reports. Because of my prior life, I was hired for this position, and again, it's paying well. The job is I am providing mobile and static security for delivery trucks that are delivering Pokemon cards to the Pokemon machines in stores.
I love it. I
These
love
Well,
it.
God
trucks,
bless you. Somebody's protecting them finally. Oh my God.
this, this little truck I'm following right now has about $800,000 worth of Pokemon cards on it. And you would not believe the lines of people that are at these machines waiting for these trucks to show up so they can get their fresh fix of Pokemon cards. You wouldn't
That,
believe it.
that just made you just made my day, Rob. I can't wait to tell that story.
Rob, where are you?
I'm in Denver right now.
Denver. Okay.
Oh, too
Wow.
funny. That is hilarious. That is just awesome.
No,
Congratulations, Rob.
no neighborhood. There's no single neighborhood or demographic.
You know what?
There's Pokemon crazies in every city, in every neighborhood, no matter how rich or how poor. Believe me,
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
unbelievable, unbelievable.
No, it's believable. It's totally believable. I mean, you're living the dream with your new job. You get to travel around. It's not hard work. It is appreciated work, and you're protecting society.
The client's Pokemon.
Who knew all those years and who knew that all those years in the army was going to serve you this way, Rob?
There we go.
Good for
I'll
you.
actually have to get out here in a minute because I have to get the product as it goes into the store. I'll be right back on the call, Frank.
All right, my friend. Alex, you got your hand up. Go, brother.
Yes, I do my first karate tournament in July 19.
On
Uh,
July 19th, yes.
yes, it's my first event, and in 2 weeks I found 4 sponsors for my tournament. I feel great. This is the reason the last 3 weeks I can inside this place
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
work tournament and changed my life in my my class karate. So I feel better now.
So Alex, I don't think that in our mastermind groups over the last couple of weeks, and of course you haven't been with us for a couple of weeks, but you told us a couple of weeks ago that you were making this major move. And I don't know that we gave that as much as attention as it deserves.
Mhm.
And it leads right into something that I had in my notes to talk about today was, decisiveness, making a decision. And the difference between starters and non-starters are deciding to start. And so I was wondering, What caused you to make that big step? How did you make the decision to leave a good paying job, driving trucks, doing all the things that you did, supporting your family, and then all of a sudden you just shifted gears? What caused you to make that decision, and how did you do it?
And you told me yesterday, just keep moving.
Yeah.
¿Pero qué,
So,
por qué te decidiste hacer eso?
uh, because I feel tired, because this is not my passion. I don't feel fine. I don't feel great. Um, and again, connect with my passion, the karate. The last 3 years, I got to compete to the tournament, the national tournament. And the first tournament I back, I feel great. I feel fine. And Luis tell me two, three words and move all inside me. The next year, I have a long a long talk with Luis, and Luis move more things inside me. And and when I ask to me what I do now, what I do for feel fine, for feel great, really, the drive the truck for money, it's my passion. No, no. The money is great in the truck, but I feel bad. I'm dying
It's not your
in the
joy.
yes, not joy, nothing. Travel for all United States, but no, it's not because only know the gas station.
Yeah, yeah, the gas station, exactly. And I think that's, for those that are obviously in the room with us today, and for those who will be listening to replay, if you're going through life doing something just because it's what you do. I mean, we all get it, we go to school, we get whatever education at whatever level we get a job. I mean, that's the way that we were raised. Go to school, get a job, raise a family, and then retire. And a lot of people follow that routine, but they never get to enjoy passion. They never get to enjoy their burning desire because they were taught, that stop dreaming, stop doing all that daydreaming, stop thinking about all that stuff. This is real life. Real life is living. And it takes a very strong, very mature individual, a very courageous individual to decide to live, not to work. Anybody can decide to work, but to decide to live the way that you want to live, designing your best life, right? Figuring out what's going to make you and your family happy that maybe doesn't go along with the general rules of what everybody's taught us as we were growing up. I wrote down in my notes. I got a couple of. Well, actually, let me share this first. My win for the last couple of weeks. I did a podcast a couple of weeks ago. A former real estate coaching client of mine decided her passion was to do podcast, and so she pulled me in as the gentleman who coached her for 3 years and asked me to be on her podcast. So I did that. And we talked about real estate. We talked about how I can help people move across the country, all that good stuff. But what I didn't realize is that was one of my goals was to get on podcasts and get people to know me a little bit better and who I am and what I do. And on June 3rd, I've received another invitation to do another podcast on June 3rd, where I will be presenting to a women's group the principles of the science of success. And I've been doing some preparation for that. I've done a presentation a couple of times in different groups. And what I wanted to ask you guys today was, we've gone through 17 weeks, 17 principles. Have we really done the work in each one of those principles? And nobody has to raise their hand. We don't have to fess up. Did you read the book every week? Did you do the work in the action guide and journal every week? Do you have your definite purpose written down in a written statement? Do you read it aloud twice a day, every day of your life? Are you doing that stuff? And, I'll raise my hand, guilty as charged. I don't always do all of that stuff. I'm aware when I don't do it so I can pull myself back. That's what drifters do. We're all going to drift, but we got to pull ourselves back. And so I remembered something Napoleon shared in his writing about the big four. There's 17 principles, but even Napoleon said that of the 17, if you just did these four, you would surpass all of your competition. What are the big four? First and foremost, definite purpose. We got to have a definite purpose. And I like to play around with AI, and I played around in AI last week and said, tried to tie the principles to biblical facts. And even in the Bible, it says we can't achieve anything until we have vision. So you have to vision what is your purpose, right? What do you want to do? The second is the Mastermind Alliance. Nobody can achieve any level of success alone. You need a group of individuals supporting and helping us along the way. Every one of us. I don't care who we are. So number one, definite purpose. Number two, Mastermind Alliance. Number three, applied faith. You have to believe that you can actually do what you said you want to do. And ironically, the first time that we show faith is when we make a decision. Because when you make a decision, you're separating yourself from the norm and you're going in a different direction. That takes courage. And in order to have courage, you have to have faith in your own personal abilities. So when we talk about applied faith, we talk about applying your own capabilities, your own skills to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. So number one, definiteness of purpose. Number two, the mastermind. Number three, applied faith. Number four, going the extra mile. Doing more than is expected. Doing things. Look at the things that we do. Every Tuesday morning, we get together right here. We don't get paid for being here. We're going the extra mile to help ourselves become the best person that we can be. Working out. I did my 4 miles this morning. I did my core workout this morning. I'm going the extra mile to gain a certain level of fitness that is my burning desire as I age in life. I literally want to live to be 100 and make everybody miserable. Right? That's my goal, is to live to be 100. I just want to do it. The truth is, I want the Marine Corps to pay me that retirement check for a really long time. Right? So, four, the big four: definiteness of purpose, mastermind alliance, applied faith, and going the extra mile. And in my presentation, I add something that's not in the Science of Personal Achievement. It is in the original book, Think and Grow Rich. It's the principle of persistence. So I call my presentation the Big Four and the Magic Sauce. And the magic sauce is persistence. No matter how many times you get knocked down, no matter how many times you feel like the world is crushing you, you got to stand back up and persist through all of the obstacles that are definitely going to be there. Those obstacles are your test. So we've gone through 17 principles in the last 17 weeks in this mastermind. The goal was that everyone would introduce themselves to the principles and implement those principles in their lives. My challenge today is, are you doing it? Did you read the book? Did you do the work? Are you following the principles and implementing them in your own lives? Now, there's something that comes up that needs to come up before we figure out the definite purpose. And I want to thank my friend Luis yesterday in our personal mastermind for sharing something that we haven't even talked about in this session, in this group. It's called burning desire. And Luis, I felt the fire yesterday when Luis was sharing with us his burning desire. So I'm going to ask Luis for a couple of minutes. Luis, would you share with us what your burning desire is right now?
Yes, for a little while I haven't done tournaments, right? Over 40 years doing my practicing martial arts, and I at one time for 15 years I had probably the most successful tournament in Mexico, at least the most interesting tournament with people coming from different places. And then I stopped. It was very hard to do it. And then I started playing small, doing a tournament here in Texas, small tournament, don't advertise it, just whatever, giving my students experience of competition. But I stopped traveling to different tournaments. I mean, I go to worlds every year. I go to the world championships every year. And I've been running the national tournaments in Mexico for the last 5, 6 years. However, I am a competitor by nature. I'm a martial artist. I love winning. I don't know about you guys, but I love winning. It's one of those things that it brings me to life. It makes me feel alive. And it's competition. And why? Why? Because I have to do the work to be at a certain level to be competitive. Period. If I am competitive, I know I can win. If I'm not competitive, I don't even try. And that's one of the things that I've seen with so many people. We're not when we're really not interested into it, we're not we stop trying. Then life gets dull. So anyway, so I we got the opportunity to, I mean, wanting, it's been one of my burning desires to host the World Championships in Mexico. And I swore last year I was going to get granted that for Mexico for this year. And no, it was Abu Dhabi. And then Abu Dhabi fell, and then we're going to Germany. And my heart just sunk when I heard about it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to show these people that I'm capable to do that. So I said, okay, can I have the opportunity to run a World Cup? Yes, absolutely, you can. So I started putting this tournament together, and everything just started coming. The old Luis, the old passion for martial arts and competition started coming out. And then, of course, okay, let's get this place. Let's start talking to these people. I need the sponsors. I need this. I need it. And before I knew it, I've made more advance towards this event in the last 3 weeks than the last 5 years. And I can tell you, this event is bringing me back to putting this event together, bring me back to exactly what I want. I know how I want it. I can see the event. I was telling you yesterday, I can see exactly the event running. I can see the competitors, the podium. I can hear the noise. I can see the people in the benches, and the bleachers. I can see everything. All I need to do is close the gap. And I know that once I deliver that event, they're gonna say, Worlds is for you because you're more than capable to do that. And it's that burning desire that I've been wanting it for years, Frank, for over 20 years. I've been wanting to have this event, but I started playing small because I didn't have the persistence, just like you said. I let circumstances get in the way. Bullshit, no more.
Yeah,
I am in control.
Luis, thank you so much for sharing that. And again, just like yesterday, I could feel. Could you feel his passion? Could you feel it as he was sharing it? I mean, we all have that passion, and we've all used it in the past. Every one of us have wanted something so badly that we would do anything we could to get it. Most of us within reason, within the law, within legal, right? But we've all gotten something that we were told we couldn't have because we wanted it so bad. No, I'm going to have it. But somewhere along the line, as we get older, as we get a little bit more mature, as we get more responsibility, we start to exactly what Luis just said. We start to think small. And we think that we can't do it. I don't have the time. It's too much risk. There's no way I can handle all that. No bullshit. You can handle it. You
Right.
can handle
I-
it. Go ahead, Luis.
I'm okay because we start thinking, I'm okay, I'm safe. is the comfort zone.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
And then you start talking to yourself, talking yourself down about the dreams and all that, because I'm okay. Because it doesn't matter right now. We all have food in our fridge, we have food on our table, a nice pantry, paying the bills, hard or easy, whatever, but we are comfortable. I haven't met one single person that is successful in life living in the comfort zone. And I'm not average. Average sucks.
Yeah. 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 Who wants to be average? You know, average. I remember going through school, it seemed like everybody wanted to teach us to just pass, right? Let's at least get you to a C so you'll have a passing grade. And that C is average. You know, I've done some reflection in my life, and today I'm happy to say I do things that I really enjoy doing. I enjoy speaking in public. I enjoy being on the stage. I enjoy doing that. But you know what? When I was in fifth grade, Sister Luke, I went to a Catholic school, and Sister Luke, I was speaking to some people in the back of the room. And of course, she was probably a little irritated because I was speaking in class. But the words she said to me cut me very deep. You speak too loud. Nobody wants to hear you speak. Those were the words that she said to me in fifth grade. So, what am I? 12 years old in fifth grade? And somebody's telling me to stop speaking so loud. So, I fell into the shadows. I was the guy who nobody heard from. Until fortunately, many years later, as a United States Marine, I was put in a position of leadership where I had to speak and I had to stand up. And I found that passion again. I enjoy doing that. You know, most people fear speaking in public. I love it. I think it's a great thing to do, right? And it gets that fire burning inside me. But somebody cut me off at the knees at age 12. Where would I be had I learned these lessons at a much earlier time in my life? Not to listen to Sister Luke, because what does she know? Don't let other people make your decisions for you, right? So, Luis, thanks for bringing that to my mind because that's what I just thought of, right? We've all got it. We've all got it. And I read something this week about making decisions. As a matter of fact, I posted the quote this morning. You make a decision, it's easy to start. So if you're decisive, it's easy to start. If you're non-decisive, it's impossible to start. Because if you can't make a decision, you never move. You're always fluctuating. You know, we were talking about obstacles, you know, that falls into the realm of fear. You know, what are the fears that are holding us back? And I saw Michael posted in the comments. We were talking, I believe it had to do with talking about obstacles. And you know, he says what Rob would say is you're passing the crucible. Those are our crucibles, right? We have to pass those challenges in order to achieve what it is that we want to achieve, right? In our private mastermind yesterday, we talked about, and I learned a lot from my private mastermind. And if this is the only mastermind you guys come to, you need to do more. In fact, I want to say thank you to Michael Bridgman. 2 weeks ago, after our session, he asked to speak with me privately. And his question was, Frank, where do you want this 17 club to go? What are you trying to accomplish? And he really made me think about it. And my goal with the 17 club was not to make it my 17 club. It's to create little 17 clubs all over the country. And so when I come here every week to share this stuff, I'm doing what somebody told me to do many years ago. Said, if you want to master something, teach it. So I'm sharing the principles. It's a philosophy of life that I've devoted the rest of my life to living. And I want to create opportunities for other people to live by, to learn those and to live by them as well. So if you're in this room, I expect each one of you, I know Luis has already done it. I expect each one of you to start your own little small group, whether it be online or be in person in your local communities, teaching the 17 principles. Use the 17 club, use the logo, use everything that you want to use that I've created as we move forward, because this is ours. And if I'm being completely honest, this is yeah. Alex is showing us the lapel pin, the logo that I had sent out to the original coaches. Luis has got them. Phil Conway's got them. I love it. I love it. Put it out there. Make people ask, what's that all about? And this wasn't my dream. This was Napoleon Hill's dream. Only he called it the 13 Club because Think and Grow Rich has 13 principles. I followed the science of personal achievement, which is a little bit later on in his life, which is the 17 Club. Rob, I see your hand up. Go ahead, brother.
Sorry, Frank. I just um no,
I
another
ti-
great conversation.
I timed that perfectly when you stuffed your mouth full of food, didn't I?
No, just I wanted to comment before it left my mind. You started out with how we've been working with the 17 principles and then the four pillars that you're going to hit when you speak. And something I read, I was listening to the third time I've read it is Atomic Habits, or listened to it. And one of the things I've really taken, and I'm almost done with the book again, but one of the things I've really taken and applied to my own personal growth, and it mentions it in the book, is intentional implementation. So how
Whoops, we lost him.
You're muted, Rob.
Rob, you're muted, brother. We're missing a good one, I can tell. Come on, Rob. There you
There
go.
you go.
We missed you, brother. You look like you were giving a great presentation. He's still muted. We can't hear you, Rob.
can
Right,
you hear me now?
now we got you.
I wanted to go over how I was, you talked about how we're using these principles and how we're, and then you mentioned the four pillars, and I came back to intentional implementation. And that's what I've really put into play with my routine, my habits during the day. Even this morning, some negative talk started seeping into my mind. Okay, what am I going to do here? Am I going to focus on things that don't even exist, on imaginary voices that I haven't even heard, or am I gonna stay right here, centered, grounded, and implement the things that I know that'll keep me here and keep me safe and keep me healthy mentally. So that's one of the things I saw, I took away from the Atomic Habits. And then to Michael's point, where you wanted this to go, where you want this to go, Frank, I've been working on, I've been meaning to get to it more and more, but I've been working on the Discord channel. And that Discord channel is an area. It's a place that you can share. It's a place you can market. And I'll share it once I build it out a little better. I'll share it up to the group, maybe next meeting, because I'm still working on it. But I think it'd be a really good platform to launch from. Luis mentioned, at creating his little group, and he has his little forum, and where he's taking that. But I think for this group here, it's so important to me, Frank, to be here. During we don't, like you said, we're not getting paid. There's nobody making us, but it's just that feeling of accountability of, hey, I'm gonna be there. Frank's hosting this. If I'm not gonna be there, I'm gonna let Frank know what's going on. It's just that feeling of accountability that I think a lot of men are missing. And I think having that accountability in their life will just be that hook to bring them in and be present more here.
Yeah, yeah. And Rob, thank you for sharing that. I know you mentioned Discord a couple of weeks ago, but thanks for reminding me. I did launch a WhatsApp channel specifically for this group. I'm going to put it in the chat. I'll put the link in the chat if you guys want to join it. I know all of the coaches have already joined it, but I'll put that in there in just a few minutes. Michael, I see your hand up. Go for it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I unfortunately have to duck out early, guys. I've got to be somewhere at 9:30, so I have to rock and roll here. But love the conversation so far today. It's been great, and I'm excited about the direction that Frank has sort of illustrated for me, and that it seems like a lot of people want to get on board with. So it's cool to see where it's going to go. And as far as kind of, I didn't have a chance to share a big win, but just that clarity, what Lewis was talking about, that clarity and that energy is not only valuable for you, but it's also really infectious for other people. And one of the elements I think that's we often forget with leadership is that you're not only exciting yourself to move towards a direction, but that chemical equation naturally inspires and excites other people too. So when you're on purpose, when you're in purpose, when you're focused, you become a magnet. And um, that to me is a really, really important part because, as that great African proverb goes, right? You want to go fast, go alone. Want to go far, go together. You want to go fast and far. Well, find the right type of or the right group of fucking people that are going to help you get you there, right?
Yeah.
So, to me, that's really, really important is when you just define that destination. The energy you get is magnetic, and you're going to attract the right people to you because you're going to fall, you're going to trip, you're going to stub your toe, you're going to run into days where you don't want to do it. So you have to have the right people around you, and you have to have the right people too that also go that look, you've tried that 73 times, it's still not working. You want it to get you there, it's not getting you there. You have to come at it from a different angle because that's a really big problem too, is we get focused and fixated on the action instead of the goal.
Yeah, and Michael, thank you so much for sharing all of that. And one of the things that I kind of did it in our mastermind group yesterday. I did it a little bit today, kind of calling people out, right? Are you doing what you said you were going to? Are you doing what you said you were going to do when you joined us? Or did you get lost in the mix? Didn't have time to read a chapter this week, didn't have time. Calling people out, being a retired Marine, Rob, I know you can relate to this as well. We tend to bust each other's balls a lot, especially when we start talking shit, right? And in talking stuff is what guys do sometimes in defensive mode. They're not really doing all the things that they say they're doing. They just want you to think they're doing all the things that they say you're doing. So I catch myself sometimes. I'll say the same thing 3 weeks. Well, wait a minute, you said that 3 freaking weeks ago. Why didn't you do it already? Right? And that's part of what we need to foster in this group. It's what men do. Nothing against women. I'm sure some women do it too, but this is what men do. Bullshit, Phil. You said that last week. When are you going to actually do it? Oh, you were listening last week. Yeah, that's called accountability. That's called accountability. And so you start something new. See you, Mike. So you start something new, and it doesn't work out exactly the way you wanted it to work out. So you start to drift out of it. No, now this group grabs you by the collar, says, no bullshit. Get your ass back here. You said you were going to do this. Let's do this. As coaches yesterday when we met, we talked about, we all struggle. As a coach, we struggle with the same stuff. We know all the rules. That's what makes it even worse. We know what we're supposed to do. We teach what we're supposed to do. Most of the time, we set the example with what we're supposed to do. Not always. And I'll be the first one to raise my hand and say, guilty as charged. And that's when we have to go back. That's when we have to pour ourselves into all of the material that's available to study the principles. Because when I read every single day, I can tell you right now, within 20 minutes, I'm asking myself, oh, am I doing that? Oh, shit, I just told Albert he needs to do that, but I'm not doing it. Right? We need to call each other out on that. That's what makes us stronger. Iron sharpens iron. Albert, you see your hand, my friend. Go for it.
Yeah, I was one of the people that spoke up yesterday, and I'll just throw myself under the bus for that. Yeah, we know how this works. We don't always apply it directly. And that's why an accountability partner, a mastermind, is essential to align our thoughts and actions so that we can accomplish the goals that are our definite chief aim. And I had to stop myself to get that pronunciation out there. It's our definite chief aim, not somebody else's. The imagination is the most important thing. And I keep going back to Bob Proctor's YouTube videos where he's telling us all, and Frank was mentioning it earlier, we've been taught and deprogrammed to believe that we can't achieve anything, and daydreaming is a misdirection for accomplishing anything, when in fact it is the initial instructions to the universe that allows us to accomplish our goals.
Yeah.
Focus, persistence, but make the decision that you're going to follow your definite purpose and attend the mastermind for accountability.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly right. And
Oh, and yesterday I started another mastermind with some business partners I'm working with.
excellent. Excellent. And you know what, Albert? That might be the answer to your questions.
I think it is because they
It
want to
just
see
might
me
be.
achieve and accomplish things as well. And now they're on my advisory board.
Yeah.
I always have room for another advisor that wants to help build IT security solutions to a global cybersecurity
Yeah.
network.
Congratulations, Albert. Awesome. You know
Thank
what?
you.
Yeah, put yourself out there. If you don't have the answers, put yourself in a room where somebody else might have the freaking answers. And they'll share it with you because that's just what we do. When I was running this morning, I was thinking about all of the memories that I have about camaraderie. Whether it was that little group of kids, when I get a picture on my desk here of me when I was about, I don't know, looks like I was about 4 years old. And I lived in this little neighborhood in southern New Hampshire. And me, two twin brothers, and the girl across the street, we created the Man from Uncle Club. That was my first mastermind group, the Man from Uncle Club. And we would get together every freaking week, a couple of times a week, down in her basement, playing, creating ammonia bombs with light bulb, putting ammonia in there, and playing against chaos, doing all the stuff. But I still remember that shit today, and I'm 70 years old. Gives me a smile on my face when I think about that group of people. And we still connect. Matter of fact, Judy was the only girl, and I just connected with her last year. Hadn't seen her in 50 years. Her and her husband, we had dinner together in Florida. And it just brought back those memories. She found out that day that I had a crush on her back then. So, too bad she lost my wife. But we took a group picture of Judy, her husband, and my wife and myself. And as I looked at the picture, I said, "Holy shit, my wife and Judy look an awful lot alike." They could have been sisters. Okay, maybe I lucked out. I don't know. Leroy, I see your hand up. Go for it, brother. You're muted. After all these weeks, we'd think we would know where the buttons are, right? No, you're still muted, my friend.
Maybe he's connected to his earpiece
Yeah, do
or
you have
something.
your earpiece?
This is
Well,
called double secret mute.
Double secret mute.
double secret.
Yeah, because it looks like you're unmuted, but yeah, you're not muted. You're not muted here.
I would look at the audio setting and use the caret, that little up box, and
Uh-huh.
see what your speaker and microphones are set to.
Uh-huh. Yeah, something's not connected in the right place. That they call this the death sound, the sound of silence. Like when they have silent time on the radio. What are we gonna do? Leroy, lost you. I got nothing. I got no volume at all. All right. Anyone else have something to share while we're waiting
I
for
do.
Leroy to figure out his technology? It happens. It happens to all
Luis
of us.
has his hand up.
Oh, there he is. Go ahead, Luis.
Yes, some of the things that you said, two things. Number one, daydreaming, like you were saying, Albert, daydreaming. It is important, but we just gotta do it for a certain amount of time in the day, not all freaking day. And that's one of the problems. People is just once we get into they ask us, right? What you picture your perfect life and all that, and we think about it all day long, but we do nothing about it. So that's the first thing. And the other thing, the other trap, what I feel and I see is a trap, is that because things don't work for us right away, we start doing little things here and there, and then we're trying to do different techniques. When we need to stick to the basics, what you just said, those four principles, think and grow rich, studying it every day. And we're not going to see, especially when we have this programming for decades, not years, decades, it's not going to go away right away. We're not going to get, yes, it takes the effort and we're going to put the effort, but it's not just on acquiring the new habits or the new things that we're going to do and the new consciousness, but it's getting rid of all the garbage that is there. That is the problem in my eyes. Like what can we do to get rid of the garbage? To literally push, it's like when you, speaking on Albert's terms, when you delete stuff from the computer or you delete a document or a file, it doesn't go away. It goes to the trash bin and stays there. You have to empty it because it's still taking memory, right? I hope I'm accurate, Albert. But until and even when actually you empty it, it's still a little drag of it that stays there. But it's kind of like that. So in my opinion, we need to start working on getting rid of the trash so we can make room for the new consciousness, the new habits, and all that new stuff. So I think that's one of the things that why we don't move forward. And sometimes we just this is not working for a month or 3 weeks or 6 months or whatever, and then we go to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Instead of best in the world, the best people, best athletes in the world, best fighters in the world have two moves, and everything goes around that. Whether it's footwork or a nice jab or a great kick, whatever. But the best fighters have one or two moves that they use 80 or 90% of the time in a fight, and all the fancy, flashy stuff is just consequence of excelling this one or two magnificent skills. That's
Yeah.
what I have to say.
Yeah, it's setting the stage, right, Luis? All of that fancy stuff is just setting the stage for that right hook or that quick leg, right? I mean, it sets the stage for them to perform their magic skill.
Yeah.
Albert, I see your hand up, but I want to see if Leroy's got audio. You got it, audio, Leroy?
Yeah. Can you
There
hear
we
me
go.
now?
Yeah, go for it, brother.
All right. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I switched to my computer and so here we go. Yeah, great conversation. So I like to think of my mastermind with my wife is probably the best one I've got. And so we were discussing some of this last night. Uh like I think a lot of our what you were saying a while ago, Frank, when you got at 12 years old, you were told to shut up. And that's what I think is kind of in the culture I grew up in. There were a lot of things we weren't allowed to do. We didn't have electricity, we didn't have cars. And so if you wanted to start a business, there were certain things that you had to be careful about, you know, because it wasn't allowed. And so it was like, we just accepted it as truth, as the facts. This is how life is. And so I think trying to get out from underneath that is, you have to, like Louis said, we have to get rid of this garbage and focus. Yesterday we talked about you talked about the one thing, Frank. I think Jesus gave us the principle in the story of Mary and Martha. And so many of, we take that as, oh, this is a nice story, but he said, Martha, you're busy about many things, but only one thing is needful. And I think that was he was trying to teach a principle.
I love it.
And my wife, she's trying to start this cinnamon roll business. She wanted to do bookkeeping, but she just felt like she had this block. She didn't know why. So anyway, it seems like you know, I'm working alongside her. She's seeing more and more of what this looks like, to, to focus on the one thing. And so, yeah, it's for me, this mastermind is something that keeps me accountable because I don't want to come here and say I'm not doing the work, and I know I need to, you know, we went through all the whole book now, so I want to, with the WhatsApp group, I want to be held accountable. I want to work the principle, like I want to actually do the work, and then, you know, each week report, okay, did I do the work? So
Yeah.
that's what I
And,
want to be
and
held
that's what it's
accountable.
there for. The WhatsApp group is there. I'll also share with you. So yesterday morning, I actually saw Alex on Facebook, and we weren't friends. He was a friend suggestion, probably because of my relationship with Luis. And so I sent him a friend request, and he accepted me as in the friend request, and just started a conversation. How's it going? And he responded back. And I asked him, Alex, I'm talking about us, a conversation yesterday on Facebook. And I just simply asked Alex, how's it going with the 17 principles? And the response he gave back was, it's going great. I'm working at it. I keep moving. But thank you for what you do. And that, you know what, that made me feel good. It made me feel good that someone said, because of you, things are going differently. And that's kind of cool. And I want to share that with you guys because if you want to make the principles part of other people's life, a deeper part of your life, then you need to talk about the principles. But not necessarily the way we do it here. Not Leroy, you just, hey, we read the book. Great, you read the book. Now you only got to read it about 35 more times, right? Because just reading the book doesn't do it. You
Bob
got to live the
Proctor
principle.
studied each page until he said, I have learned this and I'm applying this. Each
Bob
page
Proctor
they can grow
read
rich.
this book every day for 60 plus years. Every day. He jokes about it and said he was a slow learner. Prior to reading this book, he'd never completed a full book. If you listen to his story, prior to reading this book, he was not a reader, right? And it's back out on my desk because it's been a while since I read the original version again. So guess what? Going back to the foundational principles. This is them. So if you want to have an impact, don't make the only time we talk about the principles this mastermind group. Right. Rob, I see your hand up. I know Albert has his hand up and then he took it down. Albert, you still want to share?
I just wanted to reinforce what Luis was saying that, change takes time, but as long as we continue to put the same thoughts in our head, that's when we reprogram our subconscious mind to deliver the reality that we want. And until you focus on that, that's persistence, and decide that that's what you want, that's another one of the principles, and have the applied faith. Wow, that's three in a row. That was a perfect trifecta to me, Luis.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? As you were just sharing that, Albert, I'm remembering Tony Robbins. I had his, what was it, Personal Power cassette tapes originally, then the DVDs. I think I still have the CDs. Uh, but he gives this image is our habits are like a record, right? And every time that you perform a habit, that groove just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And in Tony's training, he talks about when you want to change something, you got to scratch the record. You got, you know what? And now all of a sudden it goes to play that and it can't play anymore because you scratched through it. You broke that habit. And, I'm on day 60 now of my habit of not drinking any alcohol, consistent exercise every day, 7 days a week. I've dropped 6 pounds. I'm down to a 32-inch waist. Even AI says I'm doing a great job for an old man of 70, But, it's, it's just yesterday we finished dinner. I got a cabinet full of freaking red wine, which is my favorite. And even 60 days in, I'm still tempted. But every day I make the decision to stay committed with what I said I wanted to accomplish.
To
So,
scratch that record.
right? And that's what you got to do. You got to do. Go ahead, Rob.
You know, Frank, on this job that I have now, I'm at these shopping centers and I'm at one right now, and people watching. I have a very bad habit of looking at people and building a very quick dossier on them. Profiling them and being able to tell you a little bit about them without even speaking to them. And a lot of these people, and I think we can all do it. You can kind of pick out who's drifting and who's not. By how they look, how they carry themselves, how they fix themselves for the day, how they groom themselves. How they're taking care of themselves. And something that I've been inspired to do for a while, but being out here
Be there
like
in a
this,
second.
how I am is an experiment I wanted to do, and I thought about this back in the Tony Robbins day when I was really, really into Tony Robbins. But now here at this point, I'm thinking about it again. I've always wanted to buy 20 little of these listening devices. So you can put a book on the little listening device, and then you can put you have headphones for the device. And what I wanted to do was put Think and Grow Rich on these 20 little devices. And then what I would do is go to some of these people, someone that I just picked, my heart would tell me, hand them the device and ask them to email me in about a year, and let's talk about it and see where that goes. See who emails me back in a year, just see where that takes me.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, you know what? And what you're sharing right there, and you broke up for about 10 seconds there, maybe 2 seconds. But what you're sharing there is the what my coach used to say to people, my real estate coach has been coaching real estate for over 30 years, and he constantly has people who come to him for advice. And Brian is a book guy. So rather than just blurb out the advice, he would give you a book. He would actually give you the book that would help you with your problem. And he'd say, read this book and you'll find your answer. And of course, that person, the next time he meets Brian, asks him the same question. And Brian's response would be this question: did you read the book? And inevitably, the answer was no, I didn't get a chance to read it. And he doesn't answer the question. Because if you're not willing to read the book, I don't care what the book is, if you're not willing to read the book to learn how to make changes in your life, and what you're saying, Rob, you know what? I try really hard not to judge people, but they make it really hard for me. They make it really hard for me not to judge them. When I see somebody get on an airplane, and if this falls in your lap, I'm sorry. When I see somebody get on an airplane dressed in their pajamas and slippers, there's an immediate judgment call there from me of, is that really how you want to present yourself? I'm just flying. Yeah, no, I'm old enough to say when I got on an airplane, people got freaking dressed, right? And to this day, I can't go out of the house without getting dressed. I mean, no, you have to be decked to the nines all the time, but for goodness sake, put some freaking clothes on that represent who you are. Who are you? Right? Because don't judge a book by its cover. Well, that's the cover. That's the
That's
cover.
that's not
So
true. We all judge.
yeah, yeah, of
First
course we do.
impression count.
Of course
First
we do.
impression
First
count.
impression counts. And so, but it's not always people's fault. They just don't think. But then, the next question that goes to my mind is, are they really happy with who they are? Because, there's been times when I've looked in the mirror and I wasn't really happy with who I was. If they're not happy with who they are, how do they find the energy, the courage to change. The guy who's 300 pounds and he knows all the rules. He knows how to eat right and exercise. He knows how to lose that weight. How does he make that? Starts with burning desire. So we always say the first principle is definiteness of purpose. Before definiteness of purpose comes in, you got to have a burning desire, right? So I try to set the example. I think as a mastermind group, as men in this room, we're setting an example. And if we're not sharing the example that every Tuesday morning, every Tuesday morning, we're in a men's group talking about men's stuff. If we're not sharing that with people, we're not giving the example. This is how you make the change. You can't make a decision to lose 150 pounds in your room by yourself because there's nobody there to help you, and you're going to need help. We all need help. Go ahead, Alex.
2 years ago, Luis gave me this book. And this book sleep in my room 1 year. I don't touch this book. I don't open this book. I see Luis again. And he asked me, you read the book? And I tell the truth. No. When I begin read this book, my life changed. Really. When I begin read this book, my life changed. Open a new world. And I don't know. I don't know it. And this is my Bible now. I'm
love it.
studying this,
I love
and
it.
this book open for more books. I don't like the read. I don't like it, but this is interesting for me, and I read.
Yeah. You know what? And the more you read, the more books will come up. I'm looking right now. I've got 8 books sitting on my desk right now.
I
My
got one
problem.
more for you, Frank.
Oh, yes, I've got that book. Thank you, Louise. Raving Fans.
Good.
It's awesome. You know what? Every time we come together, somebody mentions a book. I say, I got to get another book. And some of the books I had 20 years ago, and I got to go buy them again because I got rid of them because my wife says, what are you keeping all those books for? I got bookshelves all over my office. Yeah. Because they teach us lessons. They give us support when we need it, right? And Alex, I am so happy to hear what you just said to us. You had the book for a year and it sat on a shelf somewhere and you didn't read it. And then you finally read it. Why? Because Luis said, did you read the book? Right? And he held you accountable. He held you accountable. Did you read the book? No, I didn't. Oh, great. See if I ever give you another book, right? Yeah. But at the end of the day, that's what we need. There's good stuff out there. And there's good stuff in here. Each one of us has good stuff to share, and we should be sharing it. That's our mission, to help other people avoid the mistakes that we made by teaching them the lessons that we've learned. Go ahead, Phil. We'll wrap it up with you, my friend.
Yeah, that's very important. Insight that you talked about, Alex, is that I think I got involved in the JCs in 1990, 91, which is a leadership training through community service for men and women under the age of 40. And I went through the ranks and became a state officer there. Through that organization, I started to read again. I had put books away, when I was in college. I'm done, right? What you have to do continuing education, which you do, but you don't get books. Well, I got inspired to do reading. The tapes I purchased from Success Magazine was Earl Nightingale, Lead the Field. I listened to the tape and then, get a white pad of paper and always write down, where you're going today. I did that, said, who's really got the time for this? And I just left it alone. Think and Grow Rich came to me as a result. It took Fast Story to 2007 before I actually started to pick up this. And then I couldn't get my mind around it. It said, it'll come out to you. Napoleon Hill says, you'll find the secret sauce in the blank. And I'm looking for that to be too, like, here it is, highlighted. It's not. Thoughts are things is the message. And so it's not just the reading the book, like Bob Proctor would read it. He said, till I get to the spirit of the author, I am being what I'm reading about. So Bob Proctor would have us read one chapter for a week, whether it's Think and Grow Rich. We didn't have the science of personal achievement then, but same thing. Read one of those for a month every day for 30 days. Become that particular, like Frank was saying today. If you do these top four things, how do I apply it? How do I not just know what it is? The seeds are going into the subconscious, so it's coming out in the world of karate, and then with that, opportunities in life will show up that you show that leadership skill, not only in the martial arts, yet in serving people, humanity, people who you're connected to. They're going to follow you in some way. You're going to find, hey, they're seeing a problem. I can solve it.
Yeah.
It goes for all of us, myself too, because we hit these roadblocks and we're emotionally connected with what's being blocked instead of emotionally connected to who we are. So that's why I love this group. Brings
Yeah.
you right to who we are, who are we being? Do I make a decision? Looping it back to, believing who we are, make that decision, cut off all the yes. I see Louis. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Make
This
the
is cut off.
decision.
This is champion. We have all signals that we learned from the like a third
Absolutely.
base. You must be a third base coach.
And I
Anyway,
want to thank you, Phil. I appreciate that because you're absolutely right. That's we got to make decisions, we got to make commitments, and then we got to follow through. I mean, that's the thing. The goal, the action, get it done, right? I'm listening to some material in my studies to become a certified instructor for the foundation, Napoleon Hill Foundation. And I listened to a story yesterday, which really gave me some clarity about making decisions about your definite purpose. And I wanted to share it with you guys today because I know that for a lot of us, it's the most challenging thing that we have to do. And the story is about a puzzle. So when you go out and you buy a puzzle, you know, let's call it a 1,000-piece puzzle, and you dump all the puzzle parts onto the table. And the first thing you do is you flip them all over so you can see, what all the colors and everything else. You want the right side facing up. And then maybe you start to build in the borders and looking for all the straight edges, and you kind of do that. And I'm not a puzzle guy, so I get frustrated with a puzzle like that, which probably explains why I have a difficult time defining my purpose. We have so many opportunities. There were so many pieces on the board. And so what the gentleman who's telling the story says, so what do you look at when you're trying to put together the puzzle? When you're trying to build the puzzle, what do you look at, guys? You look at the cover of the box because the box tells you what the puzzle's supposed to look like. Oh, well, before you can define your definite purpose, you got to draw the picture of what you want your life to look like. When you define it like that, you have that vision. And in the book, we call it creative vision. When you have that creative vision of what we want our lives to look at, it's easier to put the pieces of the puzzle in the right place. So I wrap up our call today with that vision. Before you can figure out what your definite purpose is in life, before you can refine what your definite purpose is, you have to have the proper vision. So start there, and hopefully that will help you guys get clear on what you want to do before our meeting next week, next Tuesday, 11 a.m. I look so much forward to seeing you guys then. And Rob, thank you for intentional implementation. That's a note I wrote down from what Rob shared with us today. Guys, walk away from today's session. Ask yourself the question, what can I implement from what we learned today? Be intentional about your efforts. Intentional implementation. Peace out. We'll see you later, guys. Have a great week.
Yes.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank
See
you.
y'all
you
later.
all. Bye now.
Guys, love you.